want to introduce
Mhm.
Vicky and we'll keep searching for Pamela. We didn't think about that when we muted everyone, but that's all right.
Sure.
Um,
Let me just find Vicky here and I can unmute her. And no, there she is. I can ask. There she is. Vicky, I just sent you, I asked you to unmute. There you are. Hello, Vicky.
Hello.
How are you? Great to see you.
Happy to be here.
So, quickly, I know that Vicky has a very extensive bio. So I'm going to just quickly go through it because she's got a very extensive background. And I spent a little bit of time with Vicky out west, and she's an incredible person and is a huge advocate for this technology and what it does. And Vicky specializes in behavioral neuroscience. Dr. Vicky Smith completed her Bachelor of Science, Masters of Science, and doctoral degrees in psychology at the University of Calgary. Her graduate was focused on circadian rhythms in the neurobiology of rotating, shift work, and jet lag. She has served as a lab manager and a researcher in the field of circadian rhythms at the University of Calgary, as well as held a nutrition and research associate position in a large animal nutrition practice working with horses and cattle, and a managerial role at a rural family medicine practice in Didsbury, Alberta. Dr. Smith is currently a clinical research coordinator with the spine program at the University of Calgary with the goal of combining her research skills and her interest in chronic pain, health management, adult spinal deformity, and surgical outcomes. Additionally, Dr. Smith is taught at multiple universities in southern and central Alberta in the fields of psychology and behavioral neuroscience, and she currently holds a part-time lecturer position at Mount Royal University. Outside of her numerous academic and research commitments, she is also the science advisor at Balance Psychology and Brain Health, as well as a budding entrepreneur growing two businesses, one in marketing and education in the financial industry, and one as an independent associate and practitioner with none other than the Super Patch Company. Welcome, Vicky. Great to have you here. Tell us a little
Thank
bit
you
about
so
your
much.
story.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit unique compared to most of the other practitioners because I don't have my own actual clinic where I'm seeing patients and necessarily recommending it directly through my own practice because I am more on the teaching and the clinical kind of side of things. But my background does very much lend towards helping a little bit understand kind of more the technical side of what's going on and the theoretical side of what's underpinning kind of how these technology work. So just as a quick kind of background of how I ended up here first, I was actually introduced to the vibrotactile technology prior to it being Super Patch. So in 2018, I was actually about a year out from starting my treatments for breast cancer. And I was definitely suffering with a lot of different types of symptoms. A lot of them were kind of the expected ones. I had to have some pretty impressive types of treatments because it was very aggressive and very hard to treat. So I ended up with a lot of neuropathy. So that was the first thing that really kind of flagged a friend that she had heard about this technology and thought, maybe it can help. Um, I know everyone says that they're very skeptical, but being a neuroscientist, that was off the charts for me. And I figured there's absolutely no possible way that this technology could do a darn thing for me. And medicine couldn't seem to do anything. So I definitely didn't expect a weird pattern on my skin to be able to do very much. But I gave it a try because I am a researcher. So I'm always willing to at least try something out and see what it can do. And so I did try it, and it was absolutely phenomenal. So the way that I share this technology is mostly starting with my personal story, because literally I went from feeling like I was walking on hot coals. Every single step was excruciating. I could barely hold a pen, so it was really hard to do my job. And then I put the technology on, and magically I had zero pain, zero tingling in my feet. um, there was even a color change in my palms and the soles of my feet. So I personally never go a single day without my technology. So that
Okay.
the same as Sylvia can
Yeah.
kind of pull up
Thank
her
you. Thank you. Bye.
pants and show people that she's wearing the technology. I can most
Microphone is
definitely
off
do the
now.
same thing. I'm wearing multiple versions of the tech for different reasons. Following my whole cancer journey, I then also ended up having to have spine surgery and got to the point where the surgeon, once he finished the surgery, he literally asked me afterwards, I don't even know how you were standing or walking. Like it made no sense that I was still functional and I was still going to work and going about my normal day. I was in pain, but the technology didn't obviously heal anything or fix anything, but it made me functional. So I shouldn't have been nearly as functional as I was, and that's part of again how um, I can share through a personal journey, but then pairing that with having my background in terms of how it should be working in the nervous system. Sylvia then goes and tests it out and proves that it's all working that way. Mine's all the theoretical basis, but that definitely helps a lot of people that I talk to understand a little bit more and that it's not, it seems so odd that these patterns should be able to do what they do. But if you know the systems that they're targeting and how they're doing what they're doing in the nervous system, then that makes it a little bit easier. And I literally teach about these same concepts of how our nervous system takes in information, how it puts out information, what we're able to do in terms of being able to heal our nervous system. All those pieces are very clinical research academic pieces for my world. And so I share the technology both from my personal story, but then also from kind of the academic and the research side of it, that people are more willing to potentially at least give it a try because of the basis that I can kind of explain how it's supposed to be working and what it's supposed to do, even if they can't really feel that it's doing much at the time. So the ways that I have shared it in my many different roles are if I see students struggling in my classes at the universities, then I definitely approach them. A lot more of that is kind of the focus and the more cognitive side of things that I see them struggling, although some of them it is also immune system issues and um, aspects to do with pain and things like that as well. In the more clinical side of what I do right now, the research and clinical side, then I definitely, a lot of it surrounds pain because I am dealing with a lot of patients that have extreme chronic pain for decades with the development of spinal deformities. So trying to help them just ease some of that pain while they're waiting for surgery, while they're recovering from surgery. So it's a tool that can definitely be useful in that context. Not all of the surgeons really are fully on board with me yet, but I'll get them there. And then in other clinical aspects of how I've previously been working, where I was introduced to the technology originally, I was working running a medical clinic, just a small family practice for my sister. And I got her very much hooked on using all of the different patches too. So she was the first doctor that I actually had who really truly believed it because she saw the differences that it made for herself. And she would start then just telling her patients, okay, you need to go out to the front and talk to Vicky, and she'll get you set up with some things that'll kind of help ease some of those symptoms and kind of improve your quality of life. So a lot more of it is just me talking to people, not so much in an actual practice sort of a situation, but I still definitely am always sharing about the technology. I absolutely love how much of a difference it can make for so many people. And the biggest thing for me is instead of just having our original kind of one size fits all, it'll help with things. I love that we now have such a targeted way of being able to just pick and choose, pair different things to help with very specific symptom sets so that we can make the most impact for anyone that we're trying to help. And I think it's great having so many practitioners that are involved now because that allows everyone else in the field to really be able to kind of lean on the practitioner's advice and the credibility that comes with that for something that is so unknown. So it really makes a big difference. I think the more we're willing to kind of talk about our experiences and how we use the technology, then it's easier for the rest of the field to be able to kind of point to that and make more headway in their own circles using the technology as well.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Vicky. I think that it's so important that we hear from people like yourself, the professionals in the the healthcare profession that have had personal experiences on our different patches. And as you said, it's we've advanced so much in such a short period of time, and anything out there like we have takes time. And we're excited that you're still linked arms with us, and you're still sharing and sharing your own story and how it's improved your quality of life. And we're grateful to have you here today, Vicky. So thank you so much for sharing. We appreciate
Thanks
you
for
very
having
much.
me.
Yeah.
Well, I see now. Um, I see the Healing Sanctuary. So I'm going to introduce our next speaker, Pam Smith, Dr. Pamela Smith, PhD, MD, ND. She is a renowned expert in bioenginetic restorative medicine with international training in Switzerland, Cambridge, and Prague, a pioneer in advanced therapies such as Undomid, I'm not sure, in plasma technology. She has worked with high profile clients, including the royal family of Abu Dhabi. That's pretty impressive. She has founded innovative initiatives such as aquatic care programs in Oaxaca, Mexico. She specializes in personalized treatments for chronic pain and adverse immunization effects, bringing her holistic health approach to a global audience. At the Healing Sanctuary Institute, Dr. Pamela Smith's approach is rooted in holistic vision of health, integrating advanced frequency therapies and cutting-edge technology with natural and personalized methods. She utilizes tools such as Ondamed, scalar and plasma energy treatments, lymphatic drainage, ozone therapies to comprehensively address the body's needs, alleviating pain, detoxifying, and restoring physical, mental, and emotional balance. Each treatment is carefully designed to meet the specific needs of every individual, prioritizing not only healing, but also long term prevention and well being. Her goal is to provide transformative care that revitalizes the body, nurtures the spirit, and promotes a full and healthy life. I am so happy to hear from you, Pamela. Let's,
Yes, I'm happy to be here. Can you hear me?
yes, we can.
Okay, awesome. Well, to be honest, I just received my patches about a month ago, and I've been like so excited about them because, I'm already doing quantum medicine and I'm already way out of the box of the normal position. And that's why I moved to Mexico for freedom. And I know for a fact that I'm dealing with a lot of retirees who have absorption problems and with nutrients. So we need a new and better way to heal people. And I love the idea of rewriting the message in the brain. And I'll be honest with you, I've only had them a month, but I've had phenomenal results with my patients. And I've had three insomniacs, and no matter what I did, no matter what I gave them, it didn't work. They were still not sleeping. And I used the REM patch, and one patient hadn't slept in 20 years. Literally, they hadn't slept in 20 years. And I gave them the REM patch, and I said, put it on 30 minutes before you want to go to sleep. And it was, I don't know, we'll just see what happens. The next morning, he texted me, he said, Doc, that's the first time I've slept in 20 years. I love these patches. Can I come buy some more? And so with that happening, I thought, okay, now I'll try my next insomniac patient, which I have quite a few here in Mexico. And so we had the same exact results, positive. They slept. And then I had a patient from Chicago come in, and she's really high strung, doing all kinds of things in Chicago. And she said, I probably haven't slept in 10 years because I multitask, I have so many things to do. And I said, well, what do you have to lose? You know, you're down to sleeping medication now. Do you want sleeping medication or do you want to try something natural? Well, I want to try something natural, but I've never heard of these patches. And, you know, I don't know anything about them. I said, look, I can't guarantee anything. I just got them. I'm testing them. And she called me the next morning from the hotel here, and she said she slept 12 hours for the first time. So I'll be honest with you, I'm super impressed with the REM patch. I had one other patient, his name's Chris France, and he took the patches back. He got all excited. He signed up, with Carolyn in the United States, and he got the patches. And so the first night, he said the patches gave him nightmares, and he called me, and I said, something highly unusual about that. I can't see how rewriting information would give you nightmares. It just doesn't make sense to me. And so Carolyn suggested that we put the peace patch with the REM patch. And now he's sleeping all night. And I'm just telling you, I'm super impressed with that working that quick, that consistent with the patients that I have, because most of the patients that fly here to me are extremely complicated and no one else could help them. They've been everywhere, done everything, and then they come here as a last resort. So, I have quite a few stories, even though I've only been using the patches 3 weeks. I've had super positive results. I had a patient who's 75, who had a hip replacement, has a leg length discrepancy of 1.5 inches, in constant pain and very unstable. So what we did is we put, of course, the Freedom Patch, and we put Liberty. And she walked into the clinic, the most stable I've ever seen her. And she said, Doc, I feel stable, like I'm not going to fall down. My equilibrium is not off. It's the first time. I mean, I'm just so happy, about that. And so, I don't know all the patches. I can't say that I've tried them all because I've only had them 3 weeks. But I have had a tremendous positive response with the patients that I did give it to, and I was super impressed. And I plan on incorporating them. I don't know the answers to exactly how I'm going to apply everything. I'm learning the patches. I'm trying to figure out, what's the best way and what's the best ones to give for the symptoms that my patients have. So I personally am using the patches, and I'm wearing them every day since that I got them. I had back surgery 50 days ago, and I had stage 4 bone cancer. And so I'm supposed to be dead right now, but of course I'm alive, and I'm learning to walk again. And I really feel the Liberty Patch has given me a lot of stability, a lot of confidence in walking. And I think it's accelerating my ability to recover. And I deal with all kinds of patients from all over the world. So I'm truly looking forward to the application of the patches in many, many different ways, because I'm looking at, combining things and adding things. But I'm truly, truly impressed with the product and the technology, and it goes along with the cutting edge stuff I'm already doing here. So I want to thank you for coming up with this technology and being able to apply this, because I think it's the way of the future for medicine.
Well, I
Yes.
have to ask you one last question. So, this is really fun for us to ask you at the beginning of this, too. Isn't this really cool that you don't have to worry about any liability, right? Or any contraindications, that you're able to just freely offer these to people in combination with whatever you're using right now and not worry about it harming, right? Like, I think that's so incredible. And after hearing all that you're doing there, it's amazing and incredible. But right, I mean, you have to let me know how that feels for you as a practitioner in that position.
Well, it follows everything I'm looking for. I'm looking for medical freedom. So this gives me medical freedom, and I'm very careful. I don't tell the patient this is going to cure anything. And I also tell the patient, you can't expect it to work in the first time you put the patch on. I mean, the longer you've had the problem, I believe the longer it's going to take to rewrite the message in the brain. So, I mean, some people, they're not going to get an instantaneous reaction. But so far, the patients that I've given it to, it's only in a month. I've had instant reactions, which really surprised me, honestly. But I'm here to tell you that's what happened, and it's the truth. And I just love incorporating this technology with what I do. It just goes together, you know, perfectly with what I'm doing.
I love that. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. I'm so excited by all of you guys sharing. I know we have Dina next. Are you wanting to introduce her, Terry?
Sure, I'd be happy to. I'm going to ask